What happened to me on June 30th, 2025 will shake every Christian believer to their very core. My name is Rabbi Ezra Goldberg, and for 43 years, I have served the Jewish community in Brooklyn, studying Torah, keeping the traditions of my fathers, never once questioning the faith I was born into. But 6 weeks ago, during what should have been a routine evening walk, everything I thought I knew about God, about the Messiah, about eternity itself was turned completely upside down in a way that defies every rational explanation I have ever encountered. Before continuing, comment where you're listening and want to help this video reach more people around the world. Let me take you back to a typical Tuesday morning in June. You're shuffling across a familiar kitchen floor, the aroma of brisket lingering in the air, sunlight cutting through a curtain's lace, dappling the table where your grandchildren's crayons spill like rainbow confetti. Laughter rises from the hallway, tumbling over the hush of a radio murmuring psalms in Hebrew. The clock ticks. You barely notice. This is Brooklyn, your Brooklyn, Ocean Parkway stretching out, a river of memories winding past delis and bakeries, brownstone porches, and stoop-sitting neighbors who've watched you grow old. You tie your shoes just as you've done every evening for decades, the simple ritual of lacing and double-knotting grounding you in the steadiness of tradition. Outside, the air is thick with early summer heat, but the sky is a dazzling blue, and a faint breeze teases the fringe of your prayer shawl. With every step, you rehearse the Sabbath sermon in your mind, Isaiah's visions, the longing for Messiah, how to bridge ancient hope with your congregation's quiet longing. You think about young David Rosen's nervous smile this morning, his mother's pride as you guided him through the mysteries of Torah ahead of his bar mitzvah. You remember Mrs. Goldstein's fragile hand squeezing yours in the hospital, the silent prayers as you comforted her. You feel a gentle gratitude for the role you play. Shepherd, teacher, bridge between past and future. These are the small, soft moments you collect. Each heartbeat echoes with the memory of your father, the taste of childhood Sabbath wine, the way your wife Sarah calls your name with a patience only 30 years can shape. Life, in this instant, feels almost golden, until you turn the corner at Avenue M, sunlight slanting low, and sense a shiver of unease pass through the air. For a heartbeat, you pause, lost in a question that's haunted you since childhood. What if we've misunderstood something vital? What if the Messiah is closer than we realize, waiting behind the veil of tradition, his name on our lips, and yet unknown to our hearts? You step into the crosswalk. The world narrows to the rhythmic thud of your own footsteps, the muted shuffle of traffic. A delivery truck rumbles nearby, engine whining. You glance left, see the driver's harried face, then the flash of a yellow light. It all happens in the time it takes to whisper a prayer. Impact, weightlessness, silence. The sudden collapse of everything you believe to be safe and ordinary. Your prayer shawl flutters to the asphalt, pages of your sitter scattering like wings. The sound, the horrible sound, rings in your ears. You see Mrs. Chin's horrified face from her balcony. You hear shouts, someone calling your name, the siren's wail slicing through the hush that settles after tragedy. And then, as your vision dims, you realize you are no longer in pain. The world is slipping away, and you are becoming lighter, as if a hidden door has cracked open inside your chest, releasing the part of you that is more spirit than bone. You hover, the colors below blurring into a strange, gentle glow. Brooklyn shrinks beneath you. You notice the details you always missed, the way evening sunlight gilds the synagogue dome, the way your neighbor's roses spill over their fence, the way a child's forgotten toy lies on the curb. Time stretches, becoming wide and slow, thick with mystery. And as you rise above your body, you feel not fear but awe, as if you are stepping through the threshold of a story older than your own name. Everything you've ever loved, Sarah's embrace, your children's laughter, your congregation's faith, is woven into this single, silent moment. The ordinary, shattered and reassembled, is about to give way to something entirely other. You are floating, Ezra, and you hardly understand it. There's a slow unraveling of gravity's hold, like the gentle release of a knot that's been tied for a lifetime. You see the blue and white lights bouncing off windows, feel the press of neighborhood eyes fixed on a scene both surreal and terribly real. Your body, once the vessel of all your hopes and habits, lies crumpled on the street, undeniably yours, yet suddenly remote, like a coat shed at the door of eternity. Sirens blur, the city's heartbeat thumping in your ears. But as you drift upward, even these familiar sounds begin to dissolve into a softness, muffled and far away, as if someone has lowered the volume of the world. There's an odd sense of clarity, an awareness sharper than you've ever known, yet without panic or pain. It's as if your soul is being gently carried, the way a mother would cradle a sleeping child. You look down and see the paramedics moving with urgent choreography. You can count the drops of sweat on their brows, catch the quick prayers murmured under their breath, some in English, some in Spanish, one young woman's lips moving in the silent cadence of a Hail Mary. You want to reassure them, to tell them it's all right, but your voice is gone. You are present but invisible, a witness to your own unraveling. Nearby, Mrs. Chin's hands shake as she dials for help. Your neighbor Samuel stands frozen by the curb, tears streaming down his cheeks, clutching his son's bicycle for support. Your world, Ezra, the tapestry you've woven with decades of faith and service, is unraveling thread by thread, not in anger or chaos, but in the solemn hush that follows a passing storm. You notice the smallest things, the shimmer of dust motes in the evening light, the sweet scent of honeysuckle from a nearby yard, the faint vibration of a city that never truly sleeps. Time slows further, the seconds stretching into an eternity where every heartbeat is an echo of something vast and holy. You realize, with a kind of startled gratitude, how interconnected everything truly is. Each life, each moment, each gentle act of kindness leaving an invisible mark. A sensation, like warmth, begins to envelop you. The pain you expected never comes. Instead, there's a dissolving of boundaries. The hard edge between self and world softens. You are aware of your body below, of course, but you are not tethered to it. You hover between two realities, one fading, one coming alive. Then, the world below grows dim, replaced by a different kind of brightness. Not the harsh glare of hospital lights or police flashers, but a living, pulsing radiance that feels both new and deeply familiar. It's as if every candle you've ever lit for the Sabbath has been gathered here, multiplied, and transformed into a sun that neither blinds nor burns. There is comfort in this light, a reassurance that transcends explanation. You sense a presence before you, vaster than words, closer than breath. A whisper of anticipation trembles through you. Is this the threshold between life and whatever lies beyond? Are you dreaming, or is this the long-promised doorway into eternity? You hover, the colors below blurring into a strange, gentle glow. Brooklyn shrinks beneath you. You notice the details you always missed, the way evening sunlight gilds the synagogue dome, the way your neighbor's roses spill over their fence, the way a child's forgotten toy lies on the curb. Time stretches, becoming wide and slow, thick with mystery. And as you rise above your body, you feel not fear but awe, as if you are stepping through the threshold of a story older than your own name. Everything you've ever loved, Sarah's embrace, your children's laughter, your congregation's faith, is woven into this single, silent moment. The ordinary, shattered and reassembled, is about to give way to something entirely other. You are floating, Ezra, and you hardly understand it. There's a slow unraveling of gravity's hold, like the gentle release of a knot that's been tied for a lifetime. You see the blue and white lights bouncing off windows, feel the press of neighborhood eyes fixed on a scene both surreal and terribly real. Your body, once the vessel of all your hopes and habits, lies crumpled on the street, undeniably yours, yet suddenly remote, like a coat shed at the door of eternity. Sirens blur, the city's heartbeat thumping in your ears. But as you drift upward, even these familiar sounds begin to dissolve into a softness, muffled and far away, as if someone has lowered the volume of the world. There's an odd sense of clarity, an awareness sharper than you've ever known, yet without panic or pain. It's as if your soul is being gently carried, the way a mother would cradle a sleeping child. You look down and see the paramedics moving with urgent choreography. You can count the drops of sweat on their brows, catch the quick prayers murmured under their breath, some in English, some in Spanish, one young woman's lips moving in the silent cadence of a Hail Mary. You want to reassure them, to tell them it's all right, but your voice is gone. You are present but invisible, a witness to your own unraveling. Nearby, Mrs. Chin's hands shake as she dials for help. Your neighbor Samuel stands frozen by the curb, tears streaming down his cheeks, clutching his son's bicycle for support. Your world, Ezra, the tapestry you've woven with decades of faith and service, is unraveling thread by thread, not in anger or chaos, but in the solemn hush that follows a passing storm. You notice the smallest things, the shimmer of dust motes in the evening light, the sweet scent of honeysuckle from a nearby yard, the faint vibration of a city that never truly sleeps. Time slows further, the seconds stretching into an eternity where every heartbeat is an echo of something vast and holy. You realize, with a kind of startled gratitude, how interconnected everything truly is. Each life, each moment, each gentle act of kindness leaving an invisible mark. A sensation, like warmth, begins to envelop you. The pain you expected never comes. Instead, there's a dissolving of boundaries. The hard edge between self and world softens. You are aware of your body below, of course, but you are not tethered to it. You hover between two realities, one fading, one coming alive. Then, the world below grows dim, replaced by a different kind of brightness. Not the harsh glare of hospital lights or police flashers, but a living, pulsing radiance that feels both new and deeply familiar. It's as if every candle you've ever lit for the Sabbath has been gathered here, multiplied, and transformed into a sun that neither blinds nor burns. There is comfort in this light, a reassurance that transcends explanation. You sense a presence before you, vaster than words, closer than breath. A whisper of anticipation trembles through you. Is this the threshold between life and whatever lies beyond? Are you dreaming, or is this the long-promised doorway into eternity? You notice a detail. The man's hands bear the faintest scars, not wounds, but marks of sacrifice. It is as if history itself is etched into his flesh, the story of suffering and redemption made visible. You know, without knowing how, that these scars are not shameful but glorious. They are the proof of a promise kept. He calls your name, not with a sound, but with a resonance that fills your entire being. Ezra. The word vibrates within you, every syllable weighted with meaning. In that instant, you understand. This is not just a prophet, not just a wise teacher, but the fulfillment of every longing your soul has ever known. This is the Messiah, and he has come to meet you, here, in the space between worlds. For a moment, everything else falls away. The city, your congregation, your worries for your children and grandchildren. There is only this presence, this unbreakable connection, and the invitation to listen. The world is trembling on the edge of revelation. There's a pause, a holy stillness, as if all creation is holding its breath. Ezra stands, awash in the radiance of this impossible meeting, his heart pounding like the drumbeat of a festival, his mind trying to assemble questions, defenses, arguments. But the presence before him, the Messiah, Jesus, has no need for words. His eyes burn with a mixture of sorrow and hope, the sadness of ancient rejections mingled with the promise of coming fulfillment. You're Ezra, and you sense your every hidden thought laid bare. There is nowhere to hide, but the exposure isn't shameful, it's freeing, like a wound gently uncovered so that it might heal. The Messiah's gaze is unhurried. Time itself seems to bow in reverence as he draws closer, the light deepening, enfolding you in a peace you never imagined possible. With a voice that is at once thunder and whisper, Jesus addresses you, not in condemnation, but in affirmation. You have been faithful, Ezra. You have loved my people, walked in the steps of your fathers, honored the covenant. But now the time has come for something greater. You want to argue, want to retreat behind the walls of tradition, the fortress of familiar texts. You have spent a lifetime studying Torah, interpreting the prophets, parsing every promise and every prohibition. How could you have missed this? You reach for all your theological objections, the careful distinctions drawn between Judaism and Christianity. But the arguments are ashes in your mouth. They melt away, leaving only longing and humility. Jesus reaches out his hand, and you sense he is not erasing your story, but fulfilling it. He's not replacing your heritage, but bringing it to its fullness. The law and the prophets, every ritual, every reading, has always pointed to him, and in this moment, the threads come together. You feel your soul tremble with understanding and resistance, love and disbelief, all tangled together. He speaks of the hour, an hour approaching swiftly, faster than anyone realizes. The world is not ready, Ezra. My followers are not ready. The time of preparation is ending. What you have known as tradition is giving way to the urgency of fulfillment. I am coming soon, sooner than anyone expects. A shiver passes through you, as if the wind of eternity has found its way into your bones. The Messiah's words ring with authority, but also with grief. Many of my people have fallen asleep. They seek comfort, not transformation. They have learned to love the blessings, but have forgotten the cost of true discipleship. They have turned faith into habit, love into ritual, devotion into performance. Tell them, Ezra. Tell them to awaken. You feel the immensity of the task settling on your shoulders, a mantle heavier than any prayer shawl you've ever worn. The Messiah isn't asking for eloquence or persuasion. He's asking for surrender. He's asking you to become the messenger, the bridge between your people and the truth they have longed for in secret. A sensation wells up, part awe, part dread. You remember the prophets who were given messages too heavy for human lips. The fire in their bones, the tears in their eyes. Now, in this luminous realm, you feel a kinship with them. You want to shrink from it, but there is nowhere to hide. The call is clear. Suddenly, images cascade through your mind. Faces of people you've shepherded, voices of those you've comforted, scenes from your childhood. Your father's hands on your head in blessing, your mother lighting the Sabbath candles, your first reading from the scroll. All of it has led here. All of it is gathered up, reinterpreted in the light of this encounter. You glimpse the world below. Churches filled with worshipers, synagogues humming with prayers, mosques echoing with devotion. All humanity, longing for truth, reaching for hope. Jesus looks upon them all, not with rivalry, but with longing. He wants none to perish. His arms are open wide enough for every soul. The light shifts, as if preparing to reveal even deeper mysteries. You brace yourself, Ezra, sensing that the next revelation will shatter every last barrier of understanding. You are not afraid. You are ready. The light begins to pulse, gentle at first, then brighter, until the world around Ezra dissolves into a vastness he's never imagined. All at once, the scene shifts. It's like you're standing at the edge of a great balcony, peering down not only on Brooklyn but across continents, rivers, forests, deserts, over the whole spinning globe. The details of the city fall away, replaced by a panorama both breathtaking and terrifying. You feel yourself suspended in a space beyond space, weightless yet anchored by something sacred and unyielding. The air, if it is air, vibrates with the hum of prayers, millions of voices in every language, rising, falling, intertwining. It's as if every secret longing and silent groan is being gathered, carried upward like incense into the heart of the one who listens. Beneath you, Ezra, you see the world as you've never seen it, not with human eyes, but with a vision sharpened by eternity. Entire nations flicker beneath clouds of shadow and bursts of brilliant light. The shadows swirl thick and cold over some places, whispering lies and fears into the hearts of leaders, poisoning families, choking the dreams of children. You see powers at work that you'd always heard about in Scripture, but now behold in dreadful clarity. Forces of darkness prowling, twisting, seeking to devour. But there is light. Oh, there is light. Pillars of fire rise over homes, over churches, over even the most humble gatherings where a handful of true believers kneel in prayer. Angels, radiant and fierce, stand watch over these pockets of faith. Where people gather not for show but in true humility, the darkness recoils, unable to withstand the purity of worship and the flame of unfeigned love. You see spiritual battles unfolding in real time. A mother's whispered prayers for her wayward son become a sword in the hand of an angel. A weary pastor, on the verge of giving up, is surrounded by a host of heavenly beings as he clings to his faith one more day. In some places, the battle is fierce, churches besieged, believers tempted, good men and women weary under the weight of invisible war. In others, the victory is so bright that it nearly blinds you. A revival in a forgotten village, a midnight prayer meeting breaking chains of addiction, a single act of kindness igniting hope in a hopeless city. Jesus' presence remains beside you, his expression grave. This is the hidden reality, Ezra. This is what my people forget. The battle is not against flesh and blood. Every soul, every city, every nation is contended for, moment by moment, in the realm you now see. The enemy prowls, but my light is stronger. Still, too many remain unaware, lulled by comfort, numbed by routine. Your own heart aches for your congregation, for your city, for the world. You see men and women going about their days, heads down, eyes fixed on their own troubles, never knowing that angels weep and rejoice over every choice they make. You feel a burning urge to wake them, to shake them from their sleep. The panorama changes, and you're shown churches, some ablaze with light, others shrouded in shadow. You see pastors preaching truth at great personal cost, and you see others selling comfort and entertainment, their sanctuaries filled with laughter but void of glory. You witness worship that is pure and worship that is performance, devotion that is costly and devotion that is convenient. And in all of it, Ezra, you sense the stakes, higher than any earthly struggle. This is the war for the eternal destiny of souls, fought on battlegrounds no news camera will ever see. The weapons are prayer, faith, sacrifice, and love. The wounds are unseen, but the victories resound in the heavens. A gentle shiver passes through you as you realize the urgency of this moment. The Messiah's warning is not for some distant future, but for now. There is no room for complacency. The fate of generations hangs in the balance. The vision narrows, focusing on churches, great cathedrals, simple chapels, storefront sanctuaries, each a flickering beacon or, sometimes, a hollow shell. Ezra hovers, a silent observer, as the Spirit guides his gaze from city to city, country to country, through centuries of prayers and disappointments. The faces shift, a choir singing with tear-filled eyes, a priest kneeling in the glow of a single candle, a woman in a tattered coat sharing her only loaf of bread with a neighbor. The beauty of true devotion glimmers, fragile yet unquenchable. You see, Ezra, that not all churches shine with the same fire. Some are alight, their worship rising in waves that push darkness back, the presence of God so thick that even demons flee. These places are marked by a kind of spiritual gravity. People enter wounded and leave changed, burdens falling away as hands are lifted and hearts are pierced by the living word. You witness miracles small and large, a reconciliation between enemies, a child's illness healed, a grieving widow comforted beyond understanding. Yet, other congregations are different. The lights are dim, the air heavy with emptiness, the words from the pulpit flat and safe. You see crowds entertained but never challenged, sermons laced with promises of prosperity and ease, worship performances dazzling but hollow. The people come and go, smiling for the camera, but their eyes are tired, their souls untouched. There are churches where the poor are turned away at the door, where leaders wear robes of honor while neglecting the wounded lying just outside the sanctuary. Jesus' face hardens, not with anger, but with sorrow. Ezra, this is what I see. Many have traded my truth for comfort, my call for convenience. They have forgotten what it means to pick up the cross. The world is shaking, but they sleep. As you watch, the vision zooms in. You see individual lives, a businessman who never missed a Sunday, now adrift in doubt when his fortune crumbles, a missionary in a distant land, her faith brightening villages where the gospel is spoken for the first time, a teenager on his knees in his bedroom, wrestling with guilt, finally surrendering his life in tears of repentance. A tremor runs through the vision, a shaking that starts small but quickly grows. Buildings tremble, pews rattle, stained glass shivers in its frame. Ezra, you realize this is more than earthquake or accident. It is a spiritual reckoning. Comfortable congregations are emptied not by persecution but by revelation. The sudden knowledge that entertainment cannot heal, wealth cannot save, ritual cannot substitute for a living faith. You witness financial systems collapse, scandals erupting in ministries built on greed and manipulation. Leaders once celebrated are exposed, their hidden sins unveiled for all to see. Families are torn apart, secrets dragged into the open by the force of truth. But in the midst of the shaking, you see something beautiful emerge. Those whose faith is genuine remain, rooted in God's character and word. They shine, even as the world around them trembles. People gather not in grand sanctuaries, but in living rooms, parks, even parking garages, wherever hearts are desperate for reality. There is no polish, no spectacle, just a hunger for God that cannot be denied. Revival breaks out, not led by celebrities, but by ordinary men and women who cannot help but speak of what they have seen and heard. You realize, Ezra, that the time is short. The division is not between denominations, but between the authentic and the counterfeit, between those who have built on rock and those who have built on sand. The shaking will not spare anyone. It is coming for all who bear the name of Christ. Suddenly the focus sharpens. There is a calendar, the days peeling away as if swept by a celestial wind. August 15th burns in gold and crimson at the center, pulsing with urgency, its numbers etched into Ezra's spirit like prophecy. You sense it, Ezra. The story is accelerating. The Messiah's voice is everywhere, his presence an anchor as you watch what is about to unfold. A heaviness presses on you, a fire at once holy and terrifying. Jesus turns, his eyes brimming with sorrow and resolve. This is the hour, Ezra. My people must wake. August 15th marks the beginning, a shaking, a revealing, a revival that no one can control. The world will tremble, the church will be tested, and the difference between shadow and substance will be made plain. You watch the future flicker into view, a storm gathering on the edge of history. Scandals erupt in ministries once considered untouchable, hidden greed and deception coming to light as quickly as a curtain pulled back at sunrise. Entire denominations are forced to confront the rot within, some falling apart, others brought to their knees in repentance. You see banks shuttering, currencies falling, the illusion of security evaporating overnight. The rich and powerful scramble for answers, but none come. The wise ones, humble men and women who trusted not in wealth, but but in the steadfastness of God, stand firm as the winds howl. Families once divided by secrets are suddenly confronted by truth. Some are torn, others healed, as old sins come to light, and hidden pain is finally named. Yet amid the chaos, Ezra, you see a miracle. In places abandoned by the world's attention, dusty villages, crowded apartments, city parks after dark, ordinary believers begin to rise. A janitor who prayed in secret for years stands to preach, his words setting hearts ablaze. A schoolteacher leads her class in prayer, and revival sweeps through her city block. Grandmothers, their knees worn from decades of prayer, become prophetic voices in their families. These are not famous leaders or silver-tongued evangelists, but the wheat of the world, long hidden, now ready for harvest. Jesus leans in, the urgency in his voice a whisper that shakes your bones. This is the separation, Ezra, the hour when those who truly know me will be made strong, and those who have only used my name will be swept aside. Tell them, the time is now. They must examine their hearts, build on my word, and hold nothing back. August 15th will mark the beginning of my move, the shaking of every false foundation. You feel the weight of this message, a mantle heavier than any you've carried before. It is both warning and invitation, both judgment and mercy. The Messiah's eyes linger on you, Ezra, as if to say, you have seen. You must speak. The vision turns, and you see those who rise in the chaos, not because they are fearless, but because they are faithful. They proclaim truth with supernatural boldness, their lives ablaze with the love of Jesus. Others, who trusted in systems and spectacle, fade away, their influence dissolved like mist at dawn. Ezra, you feel the fire of urgency settling in your soul. There is no more time for delay. The future is breaking in, and it is not what anyone expected. It spreads with the speed of wildfire, the shaking, the separation, and then, astonishingly, a movement of revival, raw and unplanned. Ezra watches in wonder as the faithful, shaken loose from habit and comfort, gather in small clusters, living rooms, basements, crowded hospital waiting areas. The Spirit moves, gentle but insistent, and people who once felt unseen or unqualified step forward, their ordinary lives suddenly burning with holy courage. You see grandmothers leading their families in worship, their voices shaky but strong, tears slipping down wrinkled cheeks as they pray for prodigals to return. You see young people, once absorbed by screens and noise, kneeling in silence, hands lifted, hearts wide open, longing for reality in a world gone sideways. There are businessmen who lay aside their ambitions, pouring their savings into feeding the hungry and funding missionaries. Former rivals embrace and forgive. Denominational walls, once sturdy as stone, become porous, dissolving in the flood of shared hunger for God. Ezra, you witness it all, the simple acts of love that become the seeds of miracles. A nurse pauses on her break to pray with a patient, and that one prayer unlocks a chain of healings that ripples through the hospital. A tired mechanic, reading his Bible in a lunchroom, stirs curiosity in his coworkers. Within weeks, a prayer circle grows, and the presence of God fills even the hum of machinery. You watch teenagers confess secret sins, reconcile with their parents, and become flames in their schools, leading friends to Christ not with arguments, but with joy that cannot be faked. Opposition rises, as always. Some sneer, some threaten, some seek to crush what they cannot understand. You see local officials shutting down gatherings, neighbors reporting prayer groups, friends turning cold. But the fire does not go out. In fact, it spreads all the more, finding new places to burn. Abandoned warehouses, open fields, family kitchens after midnight. Wherever the Spirit is welcome, the light pours in. Churches, Catholic, Pentecostal, Baptist, Methodist, and nameless home fellowships, find themselves linked by something deeper than doctrine. Pastors and priests who once debated differences now pray side by side, overwhelmed by the sheer nearness of God. The hungry are fed, the lonely visited, the grieving comforted, the addicted set free. The shape of church changes, becoming simple and strong, built not on personalities but on the presence of Jesus. Ezra, the Messiah's promise is unfolding before your eyes. From the ruins of man's tradition, I will raise up a church that looks like the one described in the book of Acts. You see the likeness, meals shared, possessions held loosely, songs rising in the night, the sound of children laughing as they're baptized in creeks and bathtubs alike. Even as persecution increases, there is a joy, a luminous, stubborn gladness. Suffering cannot quench it. People laugh through tears, hold each other through storms, and find in community a strength greater than anything this world can shake. You feel it, 2. Ezra, a hope that rises, unbreakable and contagious. The sense that what is happening is bigger than any one person, bigger even than the suffering. All over the world, the revival blooms, some cities ablaze, others quietly kindled. It leaps across continents, languages, and ages, uniting old and young, rich and poor, scholar and laborer. Miracles are no longer rare. They are woven into the fabric of every day. Ordinary people, forgotten by the world, become God's chosen instruments. Then the vision shifts, and Ezra's breath catches. He sees Jerusalem, the city of David, golden under the weight of centuries. The old stones, echoing with prayers from every age, now shimmer with anticipation. Across Israel and beyond, Jewish men and women are stirred by dreams and visions, some as simple as a whispered name, others as vivid as Ezra's own encounter. You watch as the veil begins to lift, the centuries-old barrier between Messiah and his people dissolving in the warmth of revelation. Ezra, you feel the yearning of generations, fathers and mothers, sons and daughters, whose prayers for the coming of Messiah have been woven into the fabric of every Passover, every Yom Kippur, every whispered Shema. Suddenly, their eyes are opening. Some see Yeshua in the scriptures they have read all their lives, his presence shimmering between the lines of Isaiah, the Psalms, the prophets. Others, skeptical and stubborn, find their resistance shattered by encounters they cannot explain. Jesus appearing in hospital rooms, in dreams, even on city streets, speaking with the gentle authority that turns mourning into dancing. You witness rabbis, teachers, ordinary grandmothers and children, a tapestry of awakenings, some quiet, some spectacular. A yeshiva student, torn between loyalty to tradition and the tug of new faith, dares to pray, "Show me the truth," and finds his heart burning with an undeniable peace. An elderly woman in Haifa dreams for weeks of a man in white, and when her grandson reads her a New Testament passage, she recognizes the voice she has heard. In New York, Paris, Sao Paulo, Buenos Aires, across continents, Jewish hearts awaken, and the old wounds of exile and persecution begin to heal. The Messiah stands beside you, Ezra, his face luminous with love for his people. He whispers, and the words are felt more than heard. The time of the Gentiles is ending. Now I am calling my chosen ones. The promises made to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob are being fulfilled before your eyes. You watch as synagogues become places of new birth, some in secret, some boldly public. Jewish believers gather to pray, to worship, to read both Torah and Gospel, their voices joining the great chorus of the redeemed. The transformation is not without cost. Some are rejected by family, others threatened or cast out of their communities. Yet, in every story, the presence of Yeshua is tangible, comforting, strengthening, drawing even the most wounded into wholeness. Ezra sees leaders once hostile to Jesus now risking everything to proclaim him as Messiah, their tears washing away years of pride and pain. The old rifts, between Jew and Gentile, tradition and faith, history and hope, are being healed, thread by thread, until the tapestry glows with new beauty. You are shown Israel's unique place in the Great Awakening, the world's eyes fixed on Jerusalem, prophecy fulfilled as the spiritual axis tilts. Waves of revival ripple outward, reaching the nations. Gentile believers, moved by compassion and wonder, embrace their Jewish brothers and sisters, and together they declare the goodness of God. Ezra, you feel the joy, the relief, the deep belonging, a family restored, a promise kept. And now the vision gathers speed. History races toward its horizon, and Ezra is swept up in a crescendo of light and song. The world stands poised, trembling with anticipation, as if all creation is holding its breath. Then the heavens split with a brilliance that outshines the sun. You see, Ezra, what prophets and martyrs long to witness. Jesus, not as a distant figure or gentle teacher, but as king, robed in majesty, surrounded by countless hosts of angels and a throng of every nation, tribe, and tongue. You sense the earth itself responding. Mountains quiver, oceans quiet, the air electric with awe. No one is hidden, no heart untouched. Children look up from playgrounds, the elderly pause in their prayers, prisoners lift their heads in dark cells, and world leaders fall silent in palaces and parliaments. All eyes turn upward. It is the moment spoken of in every age, the return of the King, not in secret, but for all to see. You watch as the bride of Christ, the church purified by fire and washed in tears, is gathered from the four winds. They are not the strong or the proud, but the humble, the forgiven, the ones who clung to hope when all else was lost. Ezra, you see faces you recognize, friends, family, strangers whose lives once brushed against yours in Brooklyn and beyond, all shining with a light not their own. They are clothed in mercy, radiant in love, arms open to receive the King. But there is sorrow, too, a wailing in the distance from those who turned away, who clung to idols of comfort or pride and would not let go. Even so, the invitation is still open, the door not yet shut. Jesus' eyes sweep the earth with a depth of longing and compassion you have never seen, his voice rolling like thunder and soft as dew. Come, he calls, all who are thirsty, all who are weary, come to me and live. You witness judgments unfolding, systems built on greed crumbling, lies exposed, every injustice met with perfect equity. But there is overwhelming joy as well. The saints, every hidden laborer, every secret intercessor, every grandmother who ever whispered a prayer in the night, are honored before angels. The glory that fills the skies is not distant, but intimate, drawing each soul close to the heart of the King. Ezra, you feel yourself drawn into the great chorus, the song of redemption echoing from the beginning of time. The presence of Jesus is everywhere, his justice fierce, his mercy boundless, his love unbreakable. You are changed, remade, caught up in the mystery of grace. You know now why the warnings were urgent, why the call to awaken was so desperate, because love himself is returning and nothing will ever be the same. The vision fades, the brilliance gentling into a golden hush. You find yourself back at the edge of consciousness, the memory of glory burning in your chest. The world is quieter now, the air charged with expectation. You know the choice remains, to answer the call, or to let the moment pass. Let the story settle around you now. Let it sink into your bones like a gentle tide, soothing, steady, and strangely familiar. Ezra's journey is not just a vision for him, but a call whispered softly to every heart, yours included. Even as the world trembles and the heavens blaze with signs, the deepest truth is quieter than thunder. You are seen, you are loved, and you are invited. Take a breath. Picture your own home, your kitchen table, your daily walk. Imagine what would change if you truly believed the King was at the door, if every prayer you uttered mattered in the unseen battle for hearts and destinies. Maybe, for a moment, you let your guard down, allowing hope, or longing, or even a tremor of holy fear to rise within you. Ezra's story assures you, it is not too late. The shaking is not to destroy you, but to awaken you. The invitation stands, no matter your past or your doubts. Love is reaching, across centuries, across oceans, right into your living room or wherever you hear these words. The time is now. The harvest is ready. The King is coming. If these words resonate with you, write an amen in the comments, subscribe to the channel, and share it with at least 3 friends or family members right now. Now is your time to make a difference. Spreading this message is not only an act of love, but also a mission that Jesus himself has entrusted to you.